Hello, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, and in this segment, I'm going to be going over something called nakshatras. If you view or listen to my other lectures, I go into what nakshatras are, but I don't go into this much detail about the theory of nakshatras. So for starters, there's 27 nakshatras, or they're known as lunar mansions. Just to give you an overview, in Western astrology, the main focus is the sun, the revolution of the sun in 1 year. However, in Vedic astrology, the main focus happens to be the moon. So even if you know the sign, you want to make sure that you also know the nakshatra that the moon is associated with. So from this comes the syllables of names, starting names, and other important aspects that come from understanding nakshatras better. So if you're looking for a specific nakshatra or lunar mansion that happens to be associated with your sign, then you can glean a lot more information. And that's what I'm going to be going over in much more detail in the next segment. So I wanted to first share with you some of these nakshatras, and I'm going to be going over these names. However, just to give you an overview, this is over here Magha, and then Purva Palguni, and then Uttara Palguni. So these are actual stars, and I'm going to go over the stars that are associated with each one of the nakshatras. So here what you're seeing is a list of the 27 nakshatras. I created this so that you can see what each of the 27 are. And some people say there's actually a 28th nakshatra. However, that's not something that's customary to think of. So I'm going to read off the 27 nakshatras. These were actually written in one of the most ancient texts in India, which is one of the Vedas. There's 4 Vedas, and there's Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, and then 2 others that are part of that. So it's the 27 nakshatras are Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, Mrigashira, Ardra, Punarvasu, Pushya, Ashlesha, Purva Palguni, Uttara Palguni, Hasta, Chitra, Swati, Vishakha, Anuradha, Jeshta, Mula, Mula, Purva Shadha, Uttara Shadha, Shravana, Dhanishta, Satabhishak, Purva Prasthapada, Uttar Prasthapada, and Revati. So those are the 27 nakshatras. I know it's all written in Sanskrit, and the sounds are from Sanskrit, but there's a lot of different characteristics that are associated with these. So that's what we'll be going over. So in more detail, these are actually the stars that are associated with each of the 27 nakshatras. So we start with Beta Ariatis, and then 41 Ariatis, and then Alcyon to Pleiades. Pleiades is one of the major constellations. Aldebaran, which sometimes is actually used in Western astrology. And then part of the Orion constellation. And then Betelgeuse 7. I think there's multiple pronunciations for that. And then from Gemini, Castor and Pollux, this is Pollux 11. So as you can see, this does take into consideration some of the signs and constellations within the 12 signs in the zodiac. Again, this is much more detailed information about the moon. So let's go into the first 2 signs of the nakshatra, and then we'll go through other ones. So here, Ashwini, they tend to be passionate, impulsive, attractive, and intelligent people. And when your birth moon is in Ashwini, They can be extravagant and headstrong. Now, thinking about about Ashwini, the Ashwins were actually Vedic gods of light and healing and inspiration. So Bharani, these individuals are happy, healthy, skillful, and conscientious. Sometimes they tend to be self-indulgent and a lot of times also difficult to forgive. So then there's 25 nakshatras left now, so let's go through these. Kritika, fiery, full of creative energy, highly ambitious, dedicated to divine service, self-motivated, and think big. And that's very similar to how Aries is. They stand out in a crowd and can become quite famous. Typically, fame I think of in the zodiac signs as Leo. Rohini is actually loving, truthful disposition, serenity, a sense of responsibility, and a love for arts, beauty, and culture. If their moon is afflicted, though, they can be stubborn, angry, selfish, and they could be fault-finding. But they also tend to be somewhat impatient and self-indulgent, as I said. So when we're thinking about the rest of the nakshatras, you have now in the next version Mrigashira and then Ardra. Mrigashira is gentle, sensitive, highly perceptive individuals. They have quite comfortable lives and can be very hardworking and frequently drawn to spiritual life. Of course, if there's afflictions, then some are haunted by self-doubt or ego. Ardra, full of vitality, good athletes, live life with enthusiasm and intensity. However, they are often drawn to the study of esoteric laws, sympathetic and helpful. The esoteric laws, if life doesn't give them fulfillment, then they go into more of the esoteric realm. So thinking about Punarvasu, those individuals are good-natured, generous emotionally, prudent financially, and content to live a relaxed, uncluttered life. Very self-disciplined and yet playful. However, you want to guard against complacency and watch their health. Pushya, they're stable, easygoing, personalities prosperous, well-educated, popular, virtuous, and nice-looking. They're also intelligent and wise. Unfortunately, they can be overly rigid, arrogant, selfish. They can be productive and caring people who make good teachers, though. Then we're going into Ashlesha. And Ashlesha is self-reliant, excellent communicators, capable of great concentration and penetrating insight. However, their candor can turn into tactlessness, and they may manipulate truth to protect themselves. Then we go into Magha, which is regal, ambitious, pleasure-loving, physically strong, easily rise to leadership positions. They honor tradition and pursue noteworthy projects. They enjoy being served more than serving, and they can fall prey to a voracious desire for sex. So then, Purva Phalguni and Uttar Phalguni. Purva Phalguni is magnanimous, loyal, delightful. They're conversationalist, earthy, attractive. They get their way without intimidating others. Kind of charming. Often they are wanderers, drawn to the arts and enjoy life to the fullest. Uttar Phalguni, they're likable, generally well-to-do, earning substantial salaries through their exceptional intelligence. And of course, their successful courage and their love of adventure may appear. Sometimes romantic escapades may lead to trouble. So the hasta, and hasta literally means hand. So hardworking, industrious, and exceptionally resourceful. So they make fine artisans, specialists, business people, and teachers. But they're not often leaders. They may display intelligence, a sharp wit, and healing ability, also a lack of patience and a determined effort to manipulate others for their own ends. And that I'm not saying that for most hastas, but if there's an afflicted moon or something else, then this may result in some of the negative aspects of hasta. And then chitra is charming and stylishly dressed, drawn to anything new or out of the ordinary. They're magnets to the opposite sex, often artistically gifted. They surround themselves with beautiful things. Sometimes they're self-indulgent. However, they're intelligent, honest, efficient, and substantial people. So thinking about Swati, Swati individuals generally are quite nice people who control themselves in public. And they like to travel and strongly are attracted to religion and philosophy. Sometimes they experience chronic discontent, though. Again, afflicted moon. So the next one is Vishakha, and they're purposeful, forceful, commanding in appearance, excellent public speakers who enjoy making money. Their courage and ambition can become one-pointedness, carry them quickly to their goals. However, they revel in turmoil and enjoy a good argument. And then Anuradha, they're well-to-do. They dislike austere lifestyles, but have a deep spiritual nature. They value family and friends, enjoy organizing projects and managing people. However, they are prone to jealousy and depression. So Jyeshtha, they're deeply passionate, able leaders, renowned for their adherence to virtue and their testy temperaments. Generally cheerful, though, however, quite irritable when provoked. So don't provoke a Jyeshtha. They gladly fight to defend the helpless, though. So, going into the last 7 here. Mula, they're set in the ways, clever, soft, and happy disposition. However, suspicious of other people's motivations, almost like a paranoia. They tend to find their way to money, or money finds its way to them. Now, Purva Shadha is patient, independent-minded, convincing in speech, proud, lucky in love, outgoing people. Some of the things important is they value their own opinions over others. Now, Uttarashadha, which is actually my nakshatra. And so I pay attention to this more. Popular, idealistic, influential, stable, introspective, and ethical. And then good both at starting projects and completing them. Drawn to work which uplifts others. And then Shravana, they're intelligent, well-educated, and prosperous. A degree of fame usually comes their way. They love to learn, make good teachers, and enjoy traveling, often drawn to religious life and a life to service. Sometimes they can become rigid and fanatical. So then there's Dhanishta, which is courageous, generous, often prosperous, and upbeat. And they're ambitious and have a universal outlook. And they bring people together for a worthy cause. And now, Shatabhishak, the next nakshatra, blunt but honest, disinclined to conform, almost always get their way, drawn to fields requiring penetrating insight like science and philosophy. However, they can be hiding, workaholic in private. So then there's Purva Prastabhada, which is fine speakers, good business skills, can make money and hang on to it. Generally fairly serious people, though, and may act impetuously or have a hard time. The less mature can become phobic, cynical or may strike out vindictively at others. And then Uttara Prasthapada is well balanced and ethical people, kind, self-sacrificing, supportive. They sincerely enjoy family life and like to help others. And then when there's conflicts or competition, they are likely to hold the winning hand. And then the final nakshatra is Revati. And Revati is healthy, intelligent, with a sweet disposition, and artistically gifted. They love people, wish harm to no one, and nourish those in need. While they don't seek much for themselves, they do enjoy wealth, are often spontaneously bestowed on them. The less mature and those that have afflicted moon may have a low self-esteem, inferiority complex, a servile nature, fall prey to continual disappointments. So those are the 27. Some individuals actually include Abhijit, which is 28th. However, I'm not going to go into that because most astrologers don't use that. So this is a brief overview of all the different nakshatras. I hope you've learned something from this segment. Thank you for listening.